Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. We're here to react, me and Wes tonight, to Everton's 3-2 victory down at Selhurst Park. Can I get your gut reaction, Wes?
Obviously, another great 3 points, and a good performance. I wouldn't say it was our best performance, but
Mm,
a good performance. Um, we was under the cosh a lot, which is what seems to be happening lately in the games. But I think ultimately we got the 3 points, and that's what matters.
yeah, and we're moving and we're progressing, and the momentum continues, especially going into that international break. To get another victory just ahead of the break gives you a lot of confidence. Um, I think what we'll do is we'll probably run through the game, won't we, and take it moment by moment. And then we'll also be looking at the comments as we go. I see already some people talking about the penalties or penalty shouts, penalties that were given, penalties that weren't given. Um, so let's go into the game because it was a very quick action packed 5 minutes, wasn't it? Took me a
Yeah,
bit by surprise that Everton just scoring just after within a minute, basically, wasn't it?
yeah. And we're not used to it, are we? But great ball in, great build up play, great ball in from Harrison and
Mm.
Mikalenko in there to nod it home, and all fair play to him. He seems like a rejuvenated player, a completely different player.
Yeah,
But yeah, a fast start from the Blues, which is unusual.
yeah. It comes off a sort of long ball, wasn't it? You know, the famous Everton dash, played the ball quickly. We played a long ball towards Calvert-Lewin. It actually got flicked off the back of one of the Palace players, but you know, it's really difficult to get some height and some distance on those sorts of headers from in you know you're in your own box and you're trying to head it away and it drops to the edge of the box, you know, and we can pick it up there. The likes of Decore, Onana, they can pick it up, and that's what they did. They recycled it into Harrison. He put it across. Great cross, wasn't it? And it was just an invitation for Michaelenko, who's not exactly known for his attacking runs, but you know, something something's got a rush of blood the
I
last few
know,
weeks.
I know. You start getting nosebleeds getting that far up the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think he has the energy, wouldn't you, to get back? He's a fit lad to go up and down the pitch, and his defensive work rate is usually very good. But you know, it's really good to see that the two games he's contributing towards goals as well.
Yeah, I mean one of the viewers. I think it was a female. I can't remember her name, but she says every game she has a couple of quid on Michaelenko to score the first goal. She's quid's
Mm.
in the last two games, isn't she? I mean,
I like your tag there, Happy Blue.
happy. I'm always a happy blue.
Yeah,
Always a happy blue.
is that
Do you know what I
usually
mean?
on there? I don't remember
No,
it being.
I just put it in there because people keep giving me grief for being
Yeah.
negative. But
I do remember watching your reaction. Was it last week or the week before? Where
in the
you were,
West Ham game,
was it West Ham? Yeah, so I was at the game, so I think I watched it back later, and you were talking to Ryan, and he was saying, "Why are you so negative?"
yeah,
Um,
no, I mean, but it was for me. It was basically, it was about like how good Branthwaite was, and I don't think he's still going to be at Everton
hmm,
in a year's time or 2 years time, whatever, and also the lack of subs, which
yeah,
that was
yeah.
what I was saying. That was all I was saying, and I got absolutely destroyed for it. But
We can
you
come back to
know,
that because some of those points are interesting to look at the last few games, including this game, and how they have maybe changed the pattern of play, especially in later parts of this Palace game. But let's move on to basically 4 minutes later. The man you've just been talking about, Jared Branthwaite,
mm,
commits a foul, allegedly foul, for on number 10. What's his name? Eze.
as
Eze.
a
It looked a real threat, didn't he? For Palace, he was
oh
like
yeah.
the tricky one to stop today.
But
Um,
the commentator on the game said the thing was I don't want to pick on Michaelenko, but he allowed him to come inside, whereas Michaelenko, if he showed him on the outside, then he wouldn't have been able to get so tricky in the box. But at the same time, there was contact from Branthwaite. Whether it was enough to give a penalty is debatable, but it was given. You know what I mean? The second one for me, there was contact, even though Eze got a yellow card for that. I still think there was a bit of contact there, but we'll take them all day long, won't we, when they go for us?
Yeah, yeah. I think you can't argue that he did catch his leg.
He had two
Whether
bites
that's
at him, Baz. He had two
yeah,
bites. He missed with the first one, and the second one, he just clipped him. And like I say, for me, there wasn't enough contact for a penalty. But if it was at the other end and we'd have been shouting for it, we'd have been expecting it. So,
although we don't feel like we probably would have got it for that. So
probably not. That's what I mean.
The thing I would ask is, does he need to go in? I think it's very tempting when he gets into the box to sort of think, oh, I need to stop him. I need to stop him. So I've got to get my leg in, especially with Branthwaite, who's 6'5". He's got long legs. He thinks he can get there. And, the slightest half a millisecond and he's fouled him.
Yeah.
And you give the ref the opportunity to give a penalty, which he did. And it was put away very convincingly. Pickford just sort of tried to mind read him, but
I think the last two penalties now, Pickford's just stood in the middle, hoping that the ball's going to get it down the middle. So, but either way, you look foolish, don't you? If you don't dive and he slots it down the middle, you look stupid. If you do dive and he slots it down the middle, then you look foolish. But if you don't dive and he slots it either side, then you still look foolish. So,
yeah, I think I was watching something the other day. It's a bit of a sidetrack, but on the subject of penalties, that if you put it in the corner with pace, it's actually statistically very improbable that a keeper could ever reach it, with the reaction time coming from the back, literally being on the line, aren't they? Now they can't even lean forward, so it's tricky enough. And then he's tried to read it, and it's before he's seen it, it's already flown past him. So
the thing was, I mean, once we scored and they got the penalty, they were the better team. They were, Eze was, you couldn't touch him, as he was every time he got the ball, he's a quality player, you know what I mean, and everything sort of went through him, and they built up their play through him, and then we found it hard to deal with him. So when it was 1-1, I thought, get in at our time at 1-1, regroup, which we did, and we did, and then we scored another one quite quickly, but then we went sort of go back into our shell again.
Did we sort of change the pattern of the game in a way from, because obviously, as you say, there was about 20-30 minutes in that first half we basically started sitting back. Palace were getting a bit of control in the games, particularly running through Eze, and we were playing more in transitions and still creating some opportunities. But that second half, the goal coming again so early, that played a big part, didn't it, in that we sat back even more, and we dropped off even more and became rather passive from what I was watching.
100%. I mean, I think also since Calvert-Lewin's been back as well, today was probably the worst performance that he's had, and it still wasn't a bad performance. You know what I mean? Didn't really get a lot out of him, but he was happy to run the channels, and there was like pointless balls going to the fullback, but he was still happy to run and put an effort in. So we can't fault him for that. But as soon as we was getting the ball and playing it forward, we were getting dispossessed, and it was coming straight back at us.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I don't know what I mean, don't get me wrong, this tactic that he's employing at the moment, where you gift away the possession, is working, but is it working because of the standard of game teams we've been playing? because you
Yeah.
can't give away like 70-80% possession every game and not get punished eventually.
Yeah, but I think it's different, isn't it? Playing Palace, we were giving them the ball back, literally gifting them possession back by just feeding it forward, away, anywhere, and not thinking about it. Whereas when you play away at City or Spurs, they're just going to keep the ball from you really most of the time. If you gift it back that much, you'll never get out your own half.
Yeah.
It really will be difficult.
But the good thing about it is obviously the 3 points, but we're now moved up to 14th in the league, and we're 8 points away from 18th, which is effectively 3 games.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Really?
That's really promising. And you know, we got to look up the table now, and you're looking at what 3 points might buy you moving forward, and it gets you quite a lot because it's so congested around these areas in the middle of the table. Let's just go back to, so we were going to discuss about the second Everton goal just after half time. So this goal is comes from a corner, doesn't it? Another set piece, but it's sort of phase 2 of the set piece. Mykolenko gets the chance to volley it. It's a good volley, isn't it? And
a great effort.
Yeah, and you know, we got a bit lucky, didn't we, in a way that it just kind of bounced straight into Doucouré's path, and the keeper was obviously not in the goal anymore, going for Mykolenko.
Like a nice calm finish as well, though, Baz. You know what I mean? It looked like he could have easily flapped at that, but he didn't. He just took his time, and as you know, he has all the time in the world. But you've seen the miss from there.
We have, but you know, he's in a rich vein of form, isn't he? He's pretty pivotal to everything Everton do in a way, Doucouré. You know, that first goal, I think he gets that second ball that plays out to Harrison. The second goal, he scores it off the rebound, and we'll come on to the third goal, which is made by Doucouré's pass, in effect. So, you know, he's so influential on us being effective as an attacking force.
Yeah, like, I mean, we all know, like, he runs in custard, but at the same time, he has that link between the midfield and the forwards. You know, so, and he gets himself in the positions to be able to lay them balls off, and whether it's out wide or, you know, a pass through the middle. So yeah, he is like an integral part of the way we play.
Yeah, Ryan says he has a poor game, which, yeah, but it's probably fine, as you say, if he gets a goal and two assists effectively. It's no one's going to complain at that, aren't they? And at the end of the day, goals win games.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, I don't think anybody out of the Everton team particularly stood out that they were outstanding today, where you could say, yeah, they were man of the match. You know what I mean? So,
but that's a good thing, isn't it? Because that shows you're able to grind out a result, and 3 goals away from home against another battling side with their own qualities, and we've come away with that win. But you know, we didn't make it easy for ourselves, did we? As we said, so after that 2-1, Everton are 2-1 up, we dropped off a lot. We kept giving the ball away, and I think the atmosphere, you could hear, I could hear it through the computer, that Palace, you know, they were really getting on top. The momentum was coming their way. Selhurst Park was loud. It was, you could really feel Everton were vulnerable to conceding a goal at any moment, and unfortunately they conceded it in the sort of typical fashion of like a knockdown that just kind of bounced over the top, and he just latched onto it. But you've got to wonder, haven't you, where is Tarkowski in this? How did you view?
Well, I thought he must have had a shout from the keeper for him to just leave that, like, because why would you leave it? But then obviously Edouard, is it? He comes in, and you're like, it was calamitous. Let's, you know, up until that point, I think Tarkowski wasn't having a bad game. I thought he was putting his body on the line and stuff like that. And I think if I was pushed to give a man the match, it would be for him. But for that mistake, it's sort of like it's hard for me to pick him.
Yeah, I thought Michaelenko up to not Michaelenko, Tarkovsky. I'm reading the comments at the same time. Tarkovsky was good. You know, he was heading things away, getting his body on the line, and I thought Branthwaite similar. But both of them had moments where they were kind of at fault for various things. That Tarkovsky one for me, you just really wonder why is he's like flat-footed. He kind of looking to the side rather than actually moving with it. He kind of goes to sort of like he's about to head it, and then he ducks and
That's what
lets
I
it
mean.
go
That's
over
what
his head.
makes me.
I don't know
That's
what's
what
going
makes
on.
me think is he must have had a shout from the keeper, but
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. It was kind of baffling, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, it was a mistake, but we haven't been making a great deal of mistakes, and you know, sort of like a rarity for him. Let's say that. Say it was a rarity, a one-off.
yeah. Yeah, it was a strange one, but yeah, then it's back to 2-2, and you're thinking, were you thinking at that point you'd take a draw in a way away from home?
Do you know what though? No, because I thought like we could get at them if we applied ourselves well enough. We could get at them. We could score another goal. I didn't
Mm.
expect it to come from Garner Gay. I'll be honest with you. Do you know what I mean?
There's
But
half
I'll
time
take it.
substitute. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like they were pushing up so much, and we was allowing them so much possession that they were vulnerable to when they lost possession for us to get in behind them, and I think that was in like sort of obvious all game, and like I say, maybe that is the plan or the way we're playing now is like counter-attacking football. But I also think you're giving a hell of a lot up by giving all that possession away.
mm. I think it's interesting. You say we need to apply ourselves on the team, and we do have the attacking threat and balance to be able to create more chances if we got a bit more of a control. I think let's just come back to what we were saying about lack of substitutions and things like that. How do we keep it 2-1 at that point? How do we stop the Palace momentum? Is it substitutes? Is it tactics? How do you view that?
Um,
Or is it just a look of the phase of play that and it was a
yeah, I mean,
mistake?
I think the other week when we brought Patterson on and we drew 1-1, I thought the substitution for me would have been Harrison off and bring Patterson on at 1-0 and sort of like shore up because Ashley Young was getting absolutely roasted at right back. So I thought the ideal sub was to bring Patterson on and take Jack Harrison off because I thought he was pretty ineffective for the second half. But I think this week was the opposite. I think that the right sub was to bring Young off and bring Patterson on because I thought Harrison had a really good game. I think he caused a lot of
Yeah,
problems um, without actually doing a great deal. I think obviously apart from his assist for the first goal, but
yeah.
he was occupying the left back, and that was preventing him from getting forward, which was good.
So you don't criticize anything about the way that, would you say that the 2-2 goal was just look of the draw really, and just a bit of a mistake from
Yeah,
Tarkovsky, and
yeah,
it's just a one-off in a way.
yeah,
Uh,
100%. But I think also if you start bringing on extra centre halves and stuff like that, I've never been a big advocate for that because I always think that you invite the pressure onto you by bringing on another centre half.
mm, mm,
But
yeah,
Ryan says there, look, Eze is something I put in the group chat earlier on about Decore getting a silly yellow card, and would have been just our luck for him to be sent off when Eze was fouling left, right, and centre. He got a yellow card for
mm,
diving, and
yeah,
possibly should have had a second yellow for a challenge a couple of minutes later, and then another one later. Not long after that.
Yeah, you can see what I forgot to mention that because that was a bit amiss. I did see the dive, or so to speak, dive. It was a bit of a dive, wasn't it? Where he cut across Branthwaite, but I haven't seen back the. So you're saying he kind of pulled somebody, he pulled an on a back, did he?
He fouled in the second instance. He fouled James Garner. Basically, he pushed him in the back,
Right.
and then he collided with one of the players, I think. But the first one, I think, it might have been Jack Harrison. He fouled, and it was, it was a. Oh no, it wasn't his own Nana, and he got his foot in and pulled him back, and he could have easily been given the yellow for that. If he wasn't on a yellow already, he probably might have got a yellow for that. But
Yeah.
we don't get them decisions.
Well, yeah,
You know what I
Everton the
mean?
last few weeks haven't been getting those. We've had the likes of Ashley Young sent off for that, but we haven't had that in return. But the main thing is we win the game. I suppose we would be talking about that quite critically if we drawn the game or lost the game, and how he could have been sent off. But the fact we win doesn't, it kind of papers it over. So on that third goal, it just obviously Calvert-Lewin comes off, and you said he didn't have the best game, so he came off earlier than he sometimes does. 75 minutes, give Beto a chance. And it's Beto didn't even seem to be involved in that phase. I'm trying to think where he was, but he must have been dragging the defender out because the space just seemed to open up for Garner Gay. He played the ball into Decore, and Decore plays another triangle ball, so it's effectively a 1-2, and he takes a good touch, doesn't he, and finds a way to put it in the corner.
It was a great touch, and like he sort of shielded his body away from the defender coming in, and then like the goalkeeper obviously went one way, and he tucked it between the legs of the defender and went in the other corner. It was a great finish from somebody who's not renowned for his finishing by any stretch of the imagination. You know what I mean? But
yeah. You think he saw that the keeper thought he can't go there because he had the defender covering that side, and he kind of leant in the other way, and then he actually reversed it and put it sort of through his legs and across. It was very clever.
It was probably a miss it, Baz.
Probably, but we'll take it.
Take it all day long.
Yeah, and we celebrate like wild, as I'm sure they did in the stadium. Our fans. If anyone's got
fans were superb again
about the Everton fans, yeah, they were excellent. You could hear them. If anyone's been in the game, wants to put a comment in, we'd like to hear from you. And then we saw out the game, didn't we? 10 more minutes, and we just managed to we looked a bit calmer actually. We looked a bit calmer for that last bit of defending.
Yeah, I agree with you. That Mr. Blue Skies, it was a great move and build up for the goal. And we'll take them goals all day long because we was on the back foot at the time, and we was under pressure, and that sort of like that one break where we was under the cosh, sort of like. I wouldn't say it destroyed their confidence, but it certainly gave their confidence a knock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's different for us knowing we have to defend 10 minutes than having to defend basically 40 minutes plus injury time, as it was when it was 2-1 up. Mentally, it's a lot easier. You just get through, you've got to get through these 10 minutes. You've got to see out these extra 2 points. But I really thought we were heading for a 2-2 at that point. So to then get the elation of the third goal was it was even better in a way. But it was a very sort of end-to-end game as well. There's a lot of balls being turned over, quite entertaining as a neutral. Should we run through some of the comments? See if we can pick out anything that people are saying.
I think there's more to come as well, Kevin. Definitely more to come. Unfortunately, now we've got another international break. where we could have been doing with playing Man United at this time with
Yeah,
on a bit of a high. But on the flip side of that is they'll have a lot of players going away on international duty compared to what we are. Thanks very much,
yeah.
Amanda.
Thank you very much.
Amanda, I think Amanda always comes on here and gives a bit of dough.
Yeah, no, she's a very good supporter of ours, and I think Chris as well. I don't know if you've already said. Thanks, Chris, for this.
I didn't see
Yeah,
that, Chris. Thanks very
before the
much, mate.
game. Thank you very much.
Our Australian friend in America.
Yeah, as he says, it was a lot more enthralling. It was a much more entertaining game because those Palace games away at Selhurst Park usually tricky, usually tight, can end 0-0 or 1-0 or quite close scores, and this was anything but, especially for like moments of periods in the game.
JJ EFC. The arguments over an hour over gay. I don't think. For me, I don't think there is an argument. I don't know whether anything was mentioned about Onana picking up an injury or he was just like taking him off after 45 as a precaution. But I don't think, for me, there's not an argument in that. I think Onana, that's his position all day long, every day of the week. So, but Garner's not a bad replacement, is he?
No, he's not. A former PSG player, he's a good player, Garner. He's just getting on.
That was the last time he scored a goal, when he was playing for PSG.
Was it when he was linking up with Neymar and Mbappe?
Yeah.
Now he's got like McNeil.
I think you're doing a disservice there to Dwight McNeil.
I'm not saying anything. No.
JJ saying that he must have been injured. So I'll have to watch the post-match presser.
Yeah, we don't know. Maybe someone's watched the presser and can feed back to us. But yeah, I imagine so. He had a knock, didn't he? I wasn't sure if he'd start the game. I did think he would. But yeah, maybe it was just came too soon for him.
JJ saying it's a calf problem. Did he have a calf problem before the game?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, let's hope he's not out for too long.
I think he's had it a few weeks. I think it's been niggling a couple of weeks, but yeah, he was out last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that he doesn't go away with Belgium and he stays back at Finch Farm and gets the treatment that he needs, and he's back after the international break, ready to absolutely destroy Man United.
Exactly. Maybe that international comes at a good time in some ways. It's not going to help everyone, but it helps Onana hopefully to get back on the pitch. But Garner Gay's coming into form.
Yeah, let's be honest. Is Man United are no great shakes. Not at the minute. You know what I mean? And we can easily beat them at Goodison. We get the crowd behind us, and like I say, we're on a bit of a roll at the minute. So, I'd say they could be easy pickings for the Blues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Ryan's highlighting James Garner there. Maybe he can come up against his former side and score the winning goal. That would be quite a story, but yeah, I do think James Garner has been playing well, but kind of he always delivers a sort of solid performance. You might not get 8 out of 10 every week, but you do get 7. You do get an average.
I think that's it. I think you do. Very rarely you'll dip below a 7. You know what I mean? We are getting them consistent performances. But I think, like your Ryan said, he could possibly do more.
We've got some
Jay
player ratings as well.
I can't win, Jay. 1 minute I'm negative, the next minute I'm getting carried away. They can be easy pickings. Do you remember the 4-0 when we beat them at Goodison a few years back?
Yeah.
They're not as good as what that team was either. They are terrible.
But we did have probably a better team, didn't we? We had like Luka Deems scoring from the edge of the box, although Michaelenko hit a good volley today. So, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just not comfortable with giving up that much possession to any team. And yeah, it's working, but I'm just not comfortable with it, Baz.
Yeah, I think we're looking at the table. It's irrelevant of who we're playing next. You've just got to be looking at it, looking up, not down, looking who's there. You've got West Ham; they haven't played, so we've got a game more. We've played a game more than West Ham and Chelsea, but Palace and Wolves played the same amount, and those four teams are all on 14 or 15 points. So it's tight. 3 points separating up to ninth.
We've got a lot
2
of
points.
tough games. Like teams that are up there that we haven't played yet.
Yeah,
so
that's true. We have had quite a fortunate run of fixtures, haven't we, so far?
Yeah, we have. But we've got we haven't played Tottenham yet, have we? We haven't played Newcastle. We haven't played Man United. We haven't played Man City.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of tough games still to come.
It's true, but you got to play them all. Trying to think who we haven't played down the bottom end. We haven't played Nottingham Forest. They're only a point behind us. They've got a game in hand. But we've played the rest. We haven't played Wolves and Chelsea, so we haven't played some of these around us as well. So that's chances to move away from them. Jay says, JJ, he says, can we play away every week? I mean, what's happened to Everton?
Fortress Goodison.
Fortress coach.
We couldn't buy a win away from Goodison, the last 2 seasons, and now all of a sudden, but we're racking them up like they're going out of fashion.
Yeah, well, I did say in the preview that I had confidence we would go to London and pick up another 3 points. I said 2-1, but close enough for me.
But Peter's right what he says in the way, but also against the better teams, if you give up 80% possession, and I'm not saying Brighton by any means not a good team. They are a good team, but they just couldn't sort of get in at us last week. But if you start playing like that against the Man Cities and the Arsenals of this league and the Newcastles, they're going to say it's a biscuit letting them have 80% possession.
There's Amanda's asking, well, she's saying we won't be in a relegation strap, and who would we do need to strengthen in January? If we could get a bit of money, who would you get? Now, interesting, when you say we do need to strengthen in January, I'll ask back, who do you think we should get? And meanwhile, I'll ask Wes, have you got any ideas of what sort of positions you think need to be strengthened?
First of all, before I answer that, obviously this thing that's looming over us at the minute with the profit and sustainability, we could get a transfer ban with any punishment that comes our way if we get found guilty. So, I'm not going to say around and say players wise what I think we need to strengthen, because it's basically it's the availability and have we got any money to spend. But positionally wise, you'd probably want another left back possibly to cover Michaelenko. I'd probably say a right winger, and that's probably about it. I mean, Jack Harrison's there doing a great job, you know what I mean? But we need cover for him.
Yeah, it was one position in the summer that I did think we needed to get more bodies in out wide, especially losing Iwobi, losing Gray, losing, well, not really losing, but Townsend did go. I know he didn't play last season because of injury, but we basically lost, and Gordon in January, so we lost the 4 of them and brought in effectively just the one player, Harrison, and Danjuma, but both loan signings
and Beto.
So yeah, but I mean, just from a wide
All right,
perspective,
okay, yeah.
4 went out and we brought 2 in on loan. So I think we probably are a bit light there, but we've done quite well to keep everyone fit. Fingers crossed in those attacking positions so far. I mean, left back we've got Ashley Young, haven't we? If we need to move him over, or you've got Ben Godfrey, who's also been linked with a move away. I read he was linked with Spurs and Newcastle.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think that's you're treading on dodgy ground there. If you got like, I think you should have a minimum of 3 centre halves at your club, and one of them shouldn't be Michael Keane.
and we're not sure if Ben Godfrey is really a centre back. Well, I'm not sure. So, yeah, it's questionable, isn't it? I'd be looking at that spine as I'd be looking at centre back. I would, if we could get a good centre back in, if one came available, I would be looking at them. Because one injury to Branthwaite, and we're all thinking, oh no, what the hell
Yeah,
are we gonna do? And even midfield, possibly. You've got the 3 of them in the second half. But if you wanted to bring another midfielder on for some fresh energy, there wasn't one, or there wasn't a reliable first choice one available.
yeah. I mean,
So
I
we're
think
off.
we also we need to we need to we need to be realistic that we can't go out and buy, like, certainly not in January anyway, or probably in the summer. We can't go out and buy like 4 or 5 players
No.
to strengthen our squad just to make up the numbers. We need quality over quantity, and that's
Mm.
like Amanda said there. She'd buy Jack Harrison, and I said it today. If the option to buy Jack Harrison is available now, like as in to do a deal for the end of the season, I'd get
Mm.
that. I'd get that deal done with Leeds now before there might be a possibility of a transfer ban. So that deal have already been done before the transfer ban comes in.
Mm. That's an interesting point, but I think Everton will be thinking, let's delay the payments as long as possible. And I think there's something to be said about a loan signing trying to prove their worth means they have to play well for the whole season. If he knows he's already a permanent signing, he might drop off a little bit. It's
Well,
difficult.
believe it or not, we me and Robbie, as you've seen, Baz, the photographs, me and Robbie was out the other
Mm.
night, and we happened to bump into Mr. Kevin Campbell, and basically I'd had a few drinks, so the conversation was flowing, and I basically said to him when we signed him on loan from Trabzonspor, and he got a load of goals and basically kept us up with his goals and stuff. When he got his contract, he went right off the boil. And I said that a lot of Evertonians were thinking, as he just scored all them goals while he was on loan at Trabzonspor, to get a contract. And he was a bit like taken aback by it. But he wasn't, like, he said he hadn't heard that before. I said, well, I'm telling you now, when you was at the club and that happened, that's what Evertonians were thinking. But he was sound about it, like proper nice fella, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It might not be a conscious thing, but you have to put in extra effort, don't you, if you want to get this. What Andre Gomez did in his loan season, he was so good in that season,
Yeah,
and then
but
he had
the leg break
the leg
killed
break.
him.
But yeah, but even around that, he, yeah. Have we got anything else to say? Do we have any man of the match? Really, it's difficult to really pick an
It
individual.
is difficult. You know what? It's tough, but you know what? I'm gonna go for Harrison, because I think Harrison played well. Obviously, getting the first goal was and he created problems
Yeah.
for their left back. So I'm gonna plumb for Harrison.
Mm, yeah. It's hard to pick one out, isn't it? I think that's a good shout.
Mr. Blue Sky's gone for Decore.
I feel like I'd lean to Decore, but he didn't have the best game. But those contributions, you just can't argue with it. Or Michaelenko, as Chris says. Yeah, the ones who basically, have got us the 3 points of the little outstanding moments to get us those 3 points. But overall, a hard fought game, and international break now, so bit of time to rest. As you said, a lot of players not really going on international duty, so it's more time to work with the team.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they can work on just getting a bit more control in those moments. When we're taking a lead, how do we keep control or keep the ball better? Where do you want? Maybe I don't know what they really work on in training. We're just fans really, but I'd imagine they do discuss. He's going to run that outside channel. You play the ball always in there. Because you're making a clearance, you don't have time to look, but roughly where people are going to be and who's going to be around you, and you form patterns of play, and I think it's something you can work on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the the thing is for me is like the likes of Branthwaite, he'll only get more sort of confidence, and like today, like he flapped at a few. One says he got in the box, he flapped a bit at some of his tackles and stuff like that, but all that'll come with experience and time, and where he'll have a bit more composure. But I think ultimately that's what we need on the ball, is a bit of composure. Be able to play it out instead of just giving it straight back to the opposition.
Yeah, probably the likes of Onana would be one you'd highlight to kind of get the ball down and keep it. And you saw Patterson come on, and there was one moment where I remember he could have just hoofed it up the line, but he kind of sold their attacker and just played a little short one back into Tarkowski, and it just gives you that composure, that little bit of foothold, not to just keep whacking it back up the field. Anyway, so we'll wrap it up if you're happy, if you've got everything off your chest, and go and enjoy Everton's victory this evening and the rest of the weekend. They've not ruined the weekend for us again.
Well, I've got the Bournemouth Newcastle game on at the moment, and to be honest, Newcastle are making hard work of it. But by what I've seen, Bournemouth have had a couple of chances. But I don't like Newcastle, but I need them to win.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, they are 6, aren't they? So, yeah, we need them to win I see your point. Right, I'll let you watch that game. I might put it on myself. Everyone, have a good evening. Thanks for joining us, and please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.
Yeah, have a good weekend, Baz.
And you. Bye.
Bye, mate.
Up the toffees.
Up this.